very good evening to all of you, and welcome to our Cybersecurity Careers session, Decode with Nisha, where today we will not just talking about cybersecurity, but we'll be diving deep into the career as an information systems auditor. Before we begin, let me say in today's world, technology changes faster, and then we can update our just like we can update our passwords, and some of us are still guilty of keeping one that strong password for everything. So I think we all can agree to that technology has become a huge part of everyday lives, but with great technology comes with great responsibility too. So this is where the role of an information systems auditor becomes important. And an information systems auditor helps organizations understand the technology risks, review systems and processes, ensure security practices are followed, and support businesses in building a stronger digital environment. So it is a career that combines technology, cybersecurity, risk management, and business understanding, making it an exciting field for professionals who enjoy problem solving and continuous learning. So today we will explore what it takes to build a career in information systems audit, the skills required, industry expectations, and insights from professionals who have already experienced this journey firsthand. So today we will explore what it takes to build a career, that skills required. So and to take us deeper into this topic, we have some amazing professionals who will share their experience, career journeys, and valuable insights on that. And I'm delighted to welcome all of them. First of all, Mr. Anil Kumar, Cybersecurity Architect from CISA, Mr. Manish, Information Security Audit Head from Airtel Payments Bank, from Twarita Associates, and CEO from Sridhar Infosec Solutions, and Mr. Vijayan Murli, the President GRC from and Solutions. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're really looking forward to hearing your perspectives and learning from your experiences. So, over to you. We can maybe start with the first question from, I think, Vijayan sir, you can take first question.
Sure. So thank you so much, Nisha and the CyberFrat team for giving us this opportunity to become to share the knowledge what all of us has for the participants. So my first question, probably on behalf of all the participants who join, or in case who are listening to this session, recording session at later point of time, on behalf of them, I would like to ask this first question to Manish. So, hi Manish, good evening.
Good evening.
Hope everything is fine at your end.
Absolutely well, sir.
Okay. So first question is to you. See, if you ask me, we have multiple job opportunity in cybersecurity, right? However, we call it as either technical or non-technical. Many professionals always struggle to choose, right, between, or dilemma, I would say, between technical roles into GRC, right? So whether can I excel in GRC as a person, right? Because I'm already, good at technical, right? So based on your experience on this particular, shift, based on your experience, can you just give us some factors which can guide this decision and how one can successfully transition between these technical domains to GRC? Probably you can share from your experience, Manish.
Sure, Vijanjay. Thank you so much for asking a very relevant question, which we normally experience, or maybe people who have started their career or in their mid-career, what exactly did they need to do, or where they need to move forward to. So maybe I'll take my personal experience, that from where I started, and to where I am today. So if I answer your question, that see, most successful professionals understand both technology and governance both, because these days you have to go hand in hand. You need to have a technology understanding as well as a governance understanding. But I believe the real question is, where do your strength and the and basically your interest lies today, and what you want to do in future where you can make an impact of it. So, for example, if you maybe for everyone, if you love enjoying doing a hands-on things and do a problem solving kind of a thing and doing a security engineering, maybe into threat hunting or penetration testing. So that cybersecurity path may be a natural fit for you. But on to the other hand, if you're passionate about risk management, you want to understand what exactly the regulatory compliances are, you need to understand how the business function work, you need to go with the stakeholder engagement, then this GRC and IT audit can offer you a highly rewarding career for sure.
Mm.
And the really good news is that these domains are increasingly emerging. As an IT auditor, you need to evaluate the cloud, you need to evaluate the AI, cyber resilience, and need to have a technical understanding onto the same time. So maybe my recommendation would be for the a young professional would be that to have a T-shaped skill profile, that you should be having, if you have a deep expertise in one area, you need to have a broad understanding across cybersecurity risk, privacy. But for those who are actually looking for a transition from technical to say, you need to learn on to what exactly the risk assessment is. You need to understand how the control framework works. You need to understand the regulatory requirement and how you need to communicate it to the business basically. So basically in today's digital economy, organization need professional who can actually translate these technical risk into business risk. So ideally, who can actually bridge those worlds will have a strong career opportunity for sure.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Manish. I think that was a very, though I don't call that as a crisp, but still that comprehensive explanation is always helpful for the participants, right? Because many of us will have different mindset. Many of us may think it's just a GRC. I can easily do. There also we have a lot
Yes,
of
sir.
merits and demerits. I think you nailed the point from your experience. Thank you so much for that, Manish.
Thanks, Rajan.
Okay, so I have next question for so sir, my question is how must an information system auditor evolve from checklist based compliance role to a strategic risk advisor amid India's evolving technology regulations like DPDP, SEBI and RBI frameworks?
Thank you. See, from historic times, people have seen whether it is financial auditors, security auditors, or for that matter, information security auditors. So the audit role has been looked upon as a framework where people do a certain kind of compliance. Okay, it is more from a statutory regulatory perspective than an adoption of principles. Okay, we should be willing to take up a governance. We should be taking up certain kinds of ownership on our own rather than having the regulators to impose upon us that we should be doing these things. So the auditor role started out with keeping a monitoring, keeping an outlook where people would say, okay, fine, this is what the regulator requires and this is what has been done. These are the gaps, these are the non-compliances, reported to the regulator, that is done. Okay, that was the job of the auditor, how it was looked up. Okay, then when it came to financial auditors, they said, no, you are not just looking at what is required by regulator, but you are a bloodhound. You have to trace out mishappenings or any kind of lacuna in the systems. So that is how it started out. And given that today it's a dynamic, evolving generation where the technology has moved all the way from HTML designs all the way to AI based generations, your role as an auditor goes on increasing because there is a lot of things that you need to look at. You have to understand the impact on the areas. So as an IS auditor, you cannot just sit with a single checklist saying, okay, these are the points which the regulator said. You have to understand the impact of what things are being used in the ecosystem. And then based on that, you have to do a risk assessment. And from that, you have to ensure that the views that you produce, the non-compliances that you give, or what you report to the relevant stakeholders gives them an insight that what controls are actually missing, what can be built in. So that is how it is an evolving role. So we should all go from now from a compliance or a checklist based to learning new things, how to identify the risk, how to identify the impacts and bring that out.
Okay, which means learning is consistent for even if you are an information system auditor, you are at a certain position, but you have to keep learning.
continuous professional education.
True. So, anyone would like to add their views or point to that?
Very
Thank you,
rightful.
Manish.
I said continuous learning is something that has to go hand in hand when we perform an audit, because these days the regulatory requirement and the expectation with respect to the continuous learning, if I say, is keep on evolving. So this is something which for sure, till the time learning stops somewhere, we would not be able to deliver something, or maybe we will not be able to understand the risk, or maybe we'll not be able to think ahead of the regulator what exactly they want.
Exactly.
True that.
Thank you,
On that,
Manish.
yes. On that note, I would like to request Manish sir to take the next question.
Oh, so sorry. My question would be for Vedant. For example, as cybersecurity regulation keep on evolving these days, like we have a DPDPA, we have regulations, we have SEBI, we have other regulation that keeps on coming. So normally, how should cybersecurity professionals prepare themselves to remain relevant and valuable to the organization? Now this is with respect to what Ravi sir said onto the continuous learning, but what exactly your view is onto this particular question? Maybe would like to hear from you on this.
Sure. So basically, see, right now, if we say cybersecurity, it's not just a term which we can use for general operations, right? But ideally, it is for the entire security operations centers and all, where the compliances and the frameworks keeps on updating and themselves also by the regulators as well as by the the international standards. So just a small brief, every organization and every individual has to keep them updated about the latest trends going on for the compliances and all. But yeah, they also should understand the risks associated with the business, not just the technology, but yeah, from the good, the technical aspects of the incidents management and the impact of revenue and the customer impact and compliances. Secondly, see, learning the regulatory and compliance requirement, every industry has their own regulations and every region has their own regulations, right? So, see, it depends on how you take care of and you want to approach for the regulations. So, if you say that I want to go for the India level learnings, then PPDP is must, then the compliance is must to learn for the individual, right? But when we say that there is a international requirement, then if you're dealing with these some clients who are in internationally based, so there you need these kind of GDPR, SOC 2, Type 1, Type 2, all kind of compliances are required to learn. Not just the compliance part, but yeah, from the security aspect also, security testing and VAPT also, you need to learn couple of things more in this and stay updated on that. And now the emerging technologies are there, so you also need to have the data privacy and AI impact security, and also should be learned from individual level.
This again resonate with Ravi sir question, where the continuous learning
Yes.
will come into picture, because these regulations are something that we keep on updating ourselves, so that we should be aware of what exactly the regulator wants, or what exactly we
Yes.
need to follow.
So there is a good example I can give that if we say that ISO 9001 or 27001, if we do, right? So every 5 years we need to have the recertification. And every 8 years, the certification, the standard revises itself, right? So that's the reason we need to stay updated on no regular basis.
True.
So you can take the next question.
So my question is to Vijayan sir: if someone is into the another industry or the technology stack and should get into the cybersecurity consultant role, is that possible or not? And how? What are your basic guidelines on this?
Thank you so much. That was a good question. I think slightly different from what you asked. One of our participant also has asked the similar type of question. See, according to me and based on my expertise and experience, I am into different technology space, right? And I want to get into cybersecurity. Let it be a proper GRC or any kind of IAM expert or any specific domain. If you ask me, is that possible? In this world, right? In this competitive world, and based on this emerging of chat GPT and other stuff, right? You talk about perplexity, Claude, whatever you talk, that can be easily achieved. But only thing is how far you are, how far the mindset that you have. That is very, very crucial, right? Also, there is a myth that, okay, I am in cybersecurity, sorry, I am in technical stack or technology. So, which domain should I choose? Which domain should I work on cybersecurity? Right? You take any technology for that matter, be it a metaverse, be it a cognitive computing, any kind of technology in the market, right? Obviously, our great friend Mr. Cybersecurity follows.
From and would like to add their perspective, please, you're welcome to do that. Hope that answers your question. Or if you have any doubt, you can please let us know in the chat box itself. Okay, so Vijayan says facing some network issues. I think if we don't have any questions, so we can move ahead with the next one. If you would like to ask any question.
Yeah. And I'll just continue from the question which we left one bit earlier, which
Yeah.
was continuing professional education. So everything is continuous. And given the modern times, Manish, we have seen that regulations keep on changing practically on a fortnightly basis, on monthly basis. So given that scenario, having a quarterly audit or an annual, actually, does it really make sense? Or is it that as evolving, we have to also not only be CPEs, but also CP auditors? What is your view on that? How would the model be going ahead?
To answer this and to tie it back, what exactly regulator expect these days. So maybe I'll try to answer it that what exactly we are doing in the traditional audit is actually evolving significantly. We have seen that kind of a point in time assessment. The auditor would need to review the control onto the quarterly basis or onto the annual basis and provide an assurance that what is exist at that particular moment. Now, however, these today's environment and the regulatory requirement that is coming, so it is actually very very different. Organization operates on a real time basis these days. So currently threats evolves daily. Cloud environment changes continuously, and these AI system with this cloud and mythos that is coming into play, it actually introduces a new risk overnight. Now waiting for the next audit cycle is kind of often too late, I believe. So this is where the continuous monitoring, or if I say the real-time assurance, become very critical. Now if I say for the future of the audit model, how it going to be like 3 days down the line. Maybe the first layer I should be talking about is a continuous monitoring, because these days our controls are automated, things are automated. So we should also think from that perspective that automated control testing, the real-time dashboard, the continuous compliance check, that AI-driven anomaly detection kind of a thing should come into play, which tells you that what exactly onto the continuous monitoring aspect things are happening. Onto the second aspect of it, maybe I'll say the continuous assurance, because the data is something that we have these days. If we perform a analytic or a data-driven analysis approach, the exception-based reviews, the near-time validation of these control will actually eventually produce the risk indicators that what exactly we need to do. Now, we being as an auditor is the third layer where this human judgment will come into play. The assessing the governance efficiency, evaluating what exactly the risk appetite is, what exactly the culture is having, emerging risks with respect to, say, AI, the privacy, the third party dependency, the fourth party control, and providing these strategic insight to the management and to the board. For sure, technology is going to be automated, and with that, the continuous control monitoring is something that will surely replace the professional practice. The business understanding, judgment, everything is something that is we are going to witness in future for sure. Now we
Agree.
being an auditor, our role will basically shift from a control checker and will become actually a risk advisor and an assurance strategist in this, because the audit of future is we go with the AI analytics and automation while focusing on interpreting the risk challenges. This will surely going to help the organization and build the resilience for sure.
Agree that. So
Absolutely.
Manish said, sorry, Nisha, go ahead.
No, please go ahead, sir.
No, just to add to what Manish said, the other day we were just debating on this similar topic. So we said earlier it used to be post-mortem. Now it has gone to concurrent. And what the regulator is expecting is predictive. So from auditor, you're becoming AI yourselves.
True.
Back, sir, would like to add your point or perspective on this?
No, I think pretty much was covered by both the speakers. So I don't have anything to add.
Okay. So I have my next question for Vedant sir. So Vedant sir, what are the most critical mistakes organizations make when implementing cybersecurity programs, and how can help bridge the gap between compliance and actual security?
So treating cybersecurity as one-time project is the one of the mistake which we have recently covered in one of our clients interaction. So they just say that this is just a part of our process, and they want just the certification part, and they don't want to have the detailed implementation of the compliances and cybersecurity posture. So this is the one mistake which we have found. And generally, the second mistake which we have found is regarding the technology. So focusing on only technology is rather than the implementation along with the procedures and policies and the proper implementation is second mistake which we have found. And third is lack of visibility. So how to manage the assets, what kind of assets is there, how to you ensure that the asset management is properly maintained or not is one of the thing. And the incident management system which we have found is the lack of preparedness on this. So if we say that there is an incident coming up or the incident has happened, so generally the clients used to have the posture like incident ho gaya, now we have to do this and this, and we have to do the prevention activities on this. But rather than doing this, should understand that we should have the proper prevention and detection mechanism on this. So this is what we have found recently.
Okay, understood. Yes, is anyone saying something? Okay, I don't think so. So we can move ahead with the next question. Manish sir.
Maybe my question would be for Vijay. So from your experience or from the market, what exactly how the market is going? We are focusing more on to the people who have say cybersecurity certification. We understand that certification for sure plays a role. It shows that the credibility of that particular person. But does actually cybersecurity certification plays kind of a huge role to excel or excel well into this cybersecurity assignment? Is it actually yes or not? Because maybe I would like to hear from your perspective on this.
Sure. See, that was a very good question. See, if you ask me, okay, before I answer this question, probably I would like to talk about some myths that we have in the market. Okay. So if a person who completed CISA, CISM or CRISC, he can easily become CISO, right? If anyone completed CISO from EC Council, he can easily become CISO, right? And if I'm into the banking operations, take any bank for that example, I can become CISO for that respective, organization or bank, right? If you ask me, is it yes or no? Thank God your question does not have not applicable, right? Because obviously, all the checklist will have these three options: yes, no, not applicable, right? So partially yes, partially no, I would say, because to distinguish yourself from the crowd, of course, certificate will help you. But certificate alone will never fetch you any job or excel yourself in the consulting space. Consulting or auditing, training, whatever you take, right? At the same time, some customers may demand, right? Okay, a person who is going to work in my project, it would be good if he has CISA, CISM, or any other certifications. Not restricted to this particular, but any other, let it be a CompTIA pen test, either any other vendor neutral certifications also. But everyone should keep in mind that these certifications will help you to probably to some extent to get into the job, but on the go to have your day-to-day operations, I don't think so this will help. I think one of the CyberFrat event also I said, both certification and experience are like both mother and father to the child, right? So if you ask any child, whom do you like most, either mom or dad, right? It'll obviously say both. So I need both certification and experience are required at the same time. And one more thing, how many of us, right? I proudly say in this forum, at least me for sure, even though I completed my CISA CSM some 4 or 5 years before, last week I used to go and read the review manual. How many of us are doing that, right? Why? Because I don't know who has said this term. Probably I could not relate the exact person. One of the security researcher have told that if you want to implement the entire CISA review manual into an organization, it may take 5 years, because that review manual was very exhaustive, very comprehensive. You cannot bring all the thing into your organization because each and every organization has its own limitations, right? So what I mean by that, so keep on, even after you complete the certification, everybody's, I think Ravi sir was talking about CPE, continuing professional education. Everybody was focusing on that by attending conferences, putting some CPE into this or any other ISC square. That's fine. Apart from that, how many times, even after you clear the certificate, you read the manual? You should keep on reading. I'm not talking about the revision of manual getting revised once in 3 years, 16th edition, 17th edition. But in addition to that, even the existing manual, because it has huge amount of information. So to answer your question, yes, it has partially yes, it has partially no, right? Both is required.
Maybe if I say certification will give you a credential, but the continuous learning, what Ravi sir said, it will give you an immense learning to develop a risk mindset that how you can actually implement that onto the ground.
Correct. You are right. You are right. And also, as Vedant rightly said, earlier it was 2013 version, right? Even since 2022, ISO 27001, almost in third year of the release of 2022, right? Even nowadays, we can see a lot of changes within that 93 controls. We may add more controls also, because during my consulting assignments, I have seen most of the customers, not in my current organization, in my previous organization, where most of the customers, they are trying to bring in other than 93 controls also, which I'm surprised to see, right? Some organization, they struggle to implement 93 controls because we set that as an optional. Clauses are mandatory, controls are optional, right? But even I have seen an organization who are thinking beyond compliance, thinking beyond 93 controls also, right? That may be taken as an input. I don't know. In the next version, the 93 may increase to 100 or 110. I don't know. I'm just
Maybe that's a risk mindset, or they are going beyond the checklist to implement the best practices.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, I must say that very important and informative points, Vijay sir, you have put on the table today for the discussion. So I think my next question, I think Vedant sir, you can take the next question.
My question is to Ravi sir. So, what are the key challenges IS auditor faces in India today, and how do successful leaders build the resilience to overcome them?
Yeah, Vedant. To continue with what Vijayan sir said and Manish added to it to answer your question. See, the evolving changes in regulatory framework have ensured that we are always on our toes and we have to keep evolving with them. Now, the greatest problem that we face as auditors is whether it is financial or whether it is information security. Like I said, we are looked upon as a third party guy who's trying to point out mistakes. And that brings about the most confrontation between the auditor and the auditee. How many times have you had to write down list of MCs, go back to the client, get it debated upon, do this, reduce this. No, we are not doing this. We are doing this. This is correct. This is in compliance. What your thoughts are incorrect. So
That's true.
that is the biggest challenge that the audit as a role faces. Okay, whether it is India or whether it is internationally. So now how do we get about this? Is like Manish mentioned earlier. We have to change our roles from pointing out mistakes to getting the people to understand what it would cost them in terms of impact, especially whether it is their reputation, whether it is finance, or any other kind of risks that they face. Because if this breach occurs, or if this event occurs, or if this probability comes true, how will it impact you? And the moment that sinks in, then automatically your point or your perspective is the other person. So the way seniors have built a resilience over the years is changing the sides or adopting a strategy where instead of telling, okay, this is a mistake, to say, see, this may cause all these damages because of which you may face all these problems or these losses. And then how do you go about it? So you become a risk strategist, advisor. Okay, from an audit perspective, rather than saying this is a mistake, you say, okay, see, these could be the problems in future, or you could face these losses. How do you prevent that? Think about it.
Basically, introducing an improvement opportunities
Opportunity.
for the organization while having a pragmatic approach and with having our independence and objectivity in place.
Yes. It's like how the mother tries to get the child to have some food which he does not like. Make him swallow.
Like
To
to
Nisha,
add something? Yes, Vedant.
just a quick question or maybe just a guidance I am looking for. So right now there are many students or many working professionals who wanted to switch their career into cybersecurity, and they generally of the want to go in because they know about how, and because we have recently faced this while interviewing for the hiring like positions. We have recently faced this. Many of the people wanted to go for VAPD only. So why not GRC? Why not SOC 24/7? So how this perspective will be changed going forward? Because we somewhere we have to get people or students understand about the overall aspect of the cybersecurity, not just a yeah.
See, because see, it's like if you see from the earlier, also one of the earlier generations to be precise. So in those days, we had specific, okay, doctors, engineers. Okay, that was defined. So that became the predictive part where people would always flock towards that particular direction. So the moment it comes to technology, now today, if you look at any of the kids in colleges, including my own nephew, the moment you ask them, okay, what do you want in technology or what course you want to pursue? AIML, because that is a
Yes.
buzzword. Okay, people are picking up all the buzzwords and trying to drive towards it when they really don't understand what is the depth of the ocean. Okay, so unless people are made aware, okay, this is how it can be done, or this is what are the possible opportunities, these are the areas. Like medicine, we had general practitioners, old school doctors. So when they started out, MBBS was the career option. Then slowly it started evolving into different kinds of physicians, MDs, different kinds of medicine lines. So today, if you ask any of the kids in the medicine who are planning to go to medicine, okay, they know, no, I want to go into this specialization. So career counseling is more important on this aspect, whether it is from school or colleges or even from external career guidance perspective. So we should give people the understanding that technology is not only VAPT, not only AI, ML.
Yes,
And
exactly.
when you say cyber security, it does not mean only finding out your loopholes or malwares or trojans or firewall. So there is a lot more to this.
Maybe I would like to add more to what Ravi sir said, but in terms of how auditors look onto the things. So now for example, if you are proficient into VA, someone is proficient into something, but when auditors see the things, he need to see the things onto the 360-degree view, understand what exactly the control is, where the repercussion could be, and need to correlate the things with the other control so that he can independently assess and bring something for the organization to improve upon. Now, having an expertise on one is for sure that's something which a person possesses. But from an auditor lens, if we see the things, we can or we may try to see the things differently. Maybe others are not looking at, because auditors have a 360-degree horizon. But other person from a cybersecurity space or maybe from a VAPT space, he is looking onto the CV that it can be exploited. But where it further can have a repercussion, where it can further proliferate, is something where auditors can actually see, where he can actually translate those risk into the business understanding things so that samajh sake. That is something which auditors normally does.
That's where the picture, because entire governance, risk and compliance will be taken care by TRC person.
True.
Thank you so much for your answers. We have 1 to 2 questions in the chat box from Vilas. The first question is, as a information security auditor, which certification is must to be achieved, ISO 26001 or ISO 42001?
So from my perspective, the base for information security is SMS. Then we can jump on to other standards, right?
At least ISO will give you a basic building block that what exactly the controls should be there in the organization, so that
Yes.
he can have a thoughtful process that these are the controls that are actually implemented in the organization so that he can view things differently. Maybe ISO is the first step. Rest, there are multiple or other ISO frameworks available in the market which provide precise level of understanding onto those specific control like BCMS, like 42001 that has been mentioned in the question, that provides a different perspective. But ISO should be I believe, the first building block to understand onto the controls.
Okay.
And
So
one more
he has
thing,
another question.
more than ISO, I would request the people who want to excel into auditing role. Of course, CISA plays a major role. More than that, the NIST framework, right? Everybody get into ISO. There is a difference between standard and framework. In all my training sessions, I used to say this, right? So standard talks about what you should do. That is ISO, PCI, GDPR, regulatory standard, right? But framework, there is no compulsion. Whether you do this or not, it's up to you to decide. For instance, ITAL, which is an excellent framework for service management, right? COBIT, amazing framework for governance and management. COSO, excellent framework for ERM, enterprise risk management, as well as which was built on SOC 2, was built on that. You take NAST, because NAST risk management framework, NAST cybersecurity framework are amazing frameworks. It's available at free of cost. And even before you learn ISO 42001, just go ahead and look into NAST, AIR. Here to market NAST, but still I'm saying that it would be good if you start learning a lot of free stuff initially, then decide, okay, whether can I get into it. And as Veda, if you want to start with the consulting or auditing perspective from information security standpoint, is I would say it's the mother document for all your you call it as 42001, you call it as, because whenever we go and purchase a land, we always check for mother document, right? So that's why I always say it's a I would say a kind of very base and foundation for your building the information security management system. Just want to add this point. Thanks.
Okay. So he has asked one more question. So if we are taking auditor role, how are we supposed to audit the security in cloud environment?
Maybe I would start, and maybe Ravi sir, Vedant, you may add further to it. As per my understanding, doing a role of an IS auditor. So for a cloud environment, if you want to perform any audit, you should first be understanding that how exactly cloud work. Because see, you can get a checklist, you can see that this is the control, this is pass, this is control, this is pass. But you being an auditor, what exactly value add you are adding to the organization is something that you look beyond the checklist. There is a risk, for example, onto the cloud where the resource is exposed or an overly permissive rule is there. Maybe the checklist we will provide, whether that is in place, whether the review has been performed. But when you actually see the configuration parameters by yourself, that is something which a checklist will not provide you. So having a basic understanding how things work, how network flows onto the cloud is something that we should abide in our understanding with respect to the basic. Then checklist for sure would be the best one, or maybe to start with. But again, as I start, or maybe as I experienced in the journey, what I had seen in the last 20 years, the beyond checklist is something that you can actually learn and you can make an impact by doing a value add for the organization.
I would like to add up on this. So, as rightly said by Mr. Manish, that the see. So, generally, what we used to do is we used to follow the drill down approach. So, wherever we feel that this is something which have a limited information, we have to drill down in asking multiple questions and to same particular. If we say that this is the area where we feel that this is we found loophole, then we find couple of more questions we ask to the auditee, and then based on that question we come to a conclusion that this is the compliance or this is not non-compliant. Approach should be the best way to apart from the checklist, the drill down approach should be the best way to do the audits. You can say for fishbowl.
One more thing to add this point, cloud security is a very interesting topic, and also auditing cloud security is once again an art, right? So whatever it is, either it is a cloud or on-prem, first to understand the scope, right? So which type of organization, what is the business? That's a basic thumb rule of any auditor, right? Or even when you are doing any consulting also, right? And also you can focus much on, once again, I don't want to jump into certification. Again, there is a myth. If I clear CCSP, I can become cloud expert, right? If I complete CCSK, I can become cloud expert. Of course, yes, but not completely. Because as Manish and as Vedant rightly said, beyond the checklist, if you go to ISACA and you become a member, right, there is a very comprehensive checklist for auditing the, right? There is a comprehensive checklist for, to be very frank, there is a slight contradiction I want to bring here. Of course, as Manish rightly pointed out, beyond checklist is absolutely correct. But if you look into that checklist, I bet you guys, everyone on the call, it will take minimum 2 to 3 weeks continuously for you to read the checklist. It was very comprehensive, right? That area was very comprehensive, which talks about the shared responsibility model, right? Which talks about the kind of cloud data retention data, everything it talks about. But rather than on-premise, what you will do in cloud. Forget about the terms they used. I'm only talking about the checklist questionnaire, right? You take even CCSK certification, right? My friend has done this certification, let me do, whether it is relevant for me or not, right? He has done ISO 42000. See, he put it in LinkedIn. Let me also do, right? So you should think whichever suits you, accordingly you should plan, right? So that's what I would like to add. Yeah.
Thank you for your point of view. So Suman ma'am has asked one question. She's saying now AI governance is coming up. Could you share your point of view for a person with cybersecurity knowledge to scale in this path? I'd like to take that question.
All are as of, but proposition of usage of AI in the organization is important to look for the as of it is applicable or not is a second question. But yeah, management is itself is taking up on these things is the most relevant part. How management is investing on AI is also a critical point where we can say that see right now the recent case that Microsoft has declined to use Claude because of the high revenue usage, right? So when we say AI in cybersecurity, there is many things we need to take care from the framework perspective, from the overall governance perspective. So what to restrict, how to restrict is also we need to learn from the AI into cybersecurity, right? So how we restrict the data to ensure the companies not leak is also important part. And if you want to grow in this, then how AI is properly using the data, we should understand that, and then based on that only we can suggest to use the framework to our clients, or maybe how they implement, right? If you can add up, Vijay sir or this or Manish sir.
I think you pretty much covered that, Vedant. Anyone else want to add? You can add. I don't have any point. Yeah.
Yeah, just one more thing I would add to what said is that governance, when it comes to especially, we need not only just look from the ISO perspective. We have to understand the other impacting environmental regulatory factors also, like for instance, DPDP or GDPR, how these are being or getting contradicted by the implementation of AI within the organization. How do you ensure those structures, restrictions are implemented while enabling the end user or the organization to use AI? Whether you are allowed to connect to the cloud, or you should build models internally so that AI is enabled, but at the same time, your information does not go out. So governance will bring into effect all those perspectives.
Sorry, go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
no, go. No
Yeah,
worries.
so
I'll take it
whenever
up.
you talk about AI, right, obviously a biggest enemy is privacy, right? So either you talk about LLM, either you talk about, because if you look into ISO 1, they have given different roles of AI in the market, right? Be it an AI user, be it an AI, a developer, they have given different type of users very comprehensively, right? But as you rightly said, Ravi sir, not only follow ISO, not only in line with ISO, we need to think beyond that as well, because AI is a very broader concept that each and every organization, either let us assume I am an organization who is using only Chat GPT. I'm just telling an example. Can I go for it? Yes, because you are an AI user, right? But at the same time, how far it is impacting my work? We all have recently heard about a person who is uploading the customer data into Chat GPT and ask for the query, right? So then it came big, popular. And then again, there is a restriction that if you are a paid subscriber, don't worry, the customer data cannot be leaked, right? I don't know how far that is true, right? So, I mean, it all keeps on evolving. And of course, when you talk about AI governance, privacy is a very sensitive, which we need to take it up. Yeah. That's the reason I think Ravi sir also touched upon the DPDP, country specific laws. All right.
Not only that, but there was even because I have some consulting out of Middle East and Europe. Now, the more evolving part there is they are more concerned as part of ESG reporting also. What is the impact of your AI contribute to environmental factors and report that as corporate governance, your costs, your impact.
So much, everyone, for adding your points so efficiently over this platform. And I think we have covered all the questions. Okay. Sir, please try to unmute yourself.
Just a minute, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're loading
Yes, sir.
certifications from the accountants. And in February, we have released the standards of like audit, as well as like in July 23, FII standards. He is the first body to bring it in the whole of the accounting world to get these audits, auditing standards of like ISMS as well as the FII. And we do follow the like standards we have. We follow this. And we have a lot of issues with use of shadow resources, shadow tools, and like unauthorized tools like non-usage of whitelisted tools and use of machine languages all gets verify there. What is being used? It's like too high. That CSA framework comes into place. And this is very much like needed for the hello. Yeah,
Yes.
actually traveling. Maybe like network problem at station, then and this different, like, okay, I don't know whether they have the standards. So it is like advisory, but it will become like mandatory like within 6 months. I can share the standards that I have, like from my ICAI, the group, like if CyberFrat,
Also, you can share it with me. I will check that. We can send.
it's not a copyrighted material, it is a educational informational purpose only.
Yes.
And it's available on the institute website also.
Yeah, everywhere it is
Yeah.
not a problem. We can
So
get a publication, CD and publication.
Okay. Thank you so much.
So we have to look at the contents when we are doing, but we have to follow the standards. When we do as a CISA, like when we do our perspectives, I don't know what the standards like or guidelines is there.
Okay.
They have their separate set of guidelines. Okay. They have their
Not mandatory. You say standards
yeah,
are
correct.
guidelines are advisory.
Correct, sir. Okay. Thank you so
That-
much.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So firstly, I would like to thank you to all our panelists for sharing your valuable insights and experience and thoughts on this valuable topic. And I can clearly see by the questions which we had on this topic that the session was really insightful and people really had the answers. And I would like to also thank you, our audience, for joining us today. And we really look forward for such more sessions. I have also shared the feedback form, which will also give you participation certificate once you fill it. Please fill that form and it will be great for having your perspective to us. Thank you. Until next time, keep learning and keep questioning and keep building in the next session or panel discussion.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Great interacting with everyone.
Thank you.